morning, every day.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyday people. I am Denise for Lizzie. I am your MC today, and it's just absolutely great to see you on this perfect fall day. We've got clouds, we've got sun, we've got wind, we've got coats, we've got stars. It's just fun. So, anyone who's here, if you have your cell phones on, please put them on quiet, or as our friend Dee Wallace says, or on Cheap Thrills. And if you are on Facebook, just check in and let everyone know you're here. So are there any first-time visitors or someone who hasn't been here for a while in the room today or online? Okay, I don't see anyone brand new. I know our musicians have been here before, so. And let's see, does anyone have a birthday, anniversary, something to celebrate? Kevin?
My birthday was on Friday.
Oh, Kevin's birthday was Friday. Happy birthday. And Rita?
Yes. It is my birthday today.
Ooh, Rita's birthday is today. Awesome.
And the way I sing happy birthday is ha ha ha. So everybody sing ha 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 ha.
Well, we have to wait till we get everyone else's celebrations, and then we'll do that. Thank you, Rita. Does anyone else have a celebration or something they'd like to alert us to?
I'm celebrating Halloween, and I just wanted to make an announcement. The Lindsay is offering a free showing of Gremlins on Halloween Eve, 7/7.
All right.
Be there or be square.
Stephen is celebrating Halloween, and the Lenzik will have a free showing of Gremlins on Halloween Eve at 7 p.m. So put on your costumes and show up and enjoy the movie. Anyone else have something to celebrate? Or let us know. Laurel.
I made it through that test.
Oh my gosh, yay.
That was, when they stick that thing up and goes down, it's like, thank God. Yeah.
Laurel made it through a test that she had been dreading, and it was a little bit, you know,
And they say it's
challenging.
24 to 30 inches when they go from here to there.
So anyway, we're happy that she's here without any wires or cords or anything like that. Reverend Ann?
I have to celebrate the colors.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Reverend Ann is
Oh, my
celebrating
gosh.
the colors, and I mean we have so many golds and greens and yellows and browns. It's just such a beautiful time of year. So now that the wind is up, we'll see how long they last. But boy, it's been quite something. Yes, Deanna Joy.
I survived my bronchoscopy on Friday.
Awesome.
Yay.
Deanna Joy.
I had my throat, but I was fast
You were
asleep, so I
Deanna Joy had a bronchoscopy this week that she made it through, and we'll get the results, the good news, shortly.
Yeah.
And Patty.
Well, we've been celebrating all weekend. My son-in-law's birthday is the same day as Kevin.
Oh, Patty's son-in-law, is it Gilbert? Gilbert's birthday was also Friday, so we're celebrating all weekend. He's got a birthday weekend right now, and that's always fun. I'm going to celebrate that I was up at the governor's mansion yesterday. She hosted a Halloween event for all the kids, and we gave candy out to about 1,000 kids, all dressed up, and their parents dressed up. It was so fun. It was a beautiful day. And they had games, and they had haunted houses and everything up there. So it was pretty awesome.
Where was this?
It was up at the governor's residence.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that it was a fun day. Anyone else? Because golly, we've got a lot more people here, and I'm sure there's something else to celebrate. But we shall go on. So Rita, lead us in your song.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna sing La 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 to the tune of
Ha,
Happy
ha,
Birthday.
ha.
Ha 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 to the tune of Happy Birthday. Okay, let's go, Rita. Thank you, Rita. That was awesome. I hadn't heard that rendition before. All right. So, my final act is to ask you all to get up and go around the room and greet each other and say how glad you are that everyone's here.
Yay.
So good to see you again.
I know. I've been doing little treat cakes. Bring them back. Take off. Here you are.
Hello. Hi.
Okay, everybody, we're back. We're back. We're back to your seats. We got little snacks and I think we've got snacks today. I don't know. I don't see snacks. But anyway, let's get back to our seats. There's lots of time to gather and greet and hug and oh my goodness. All right, everyone. Back we go.
What directions next?
No, because I jumped the line.
Hi, I'm Chris.
Let me know the time.
I will. You'll be the next to know. All right, everyone. Let's get back to our seats. Chris, Barbara, Rita,
Just get us
Brent,
started.
Cecilia. Yes, it is like herding cats. That is true.
Social, loving people in their hearts.
All right, everyone. Barbara, Shoshana. My goodness. I have totally lost control.
Chris, let's see.
Barbara, Shoshana, we're going. We're moving on. Holy moly. So I do have to just say I jumped the line because I stepped right in front of Patty, who's going to now do our opening prayer. So let's just get comfy and let Patty, and we'll get back in order as
We
soon
have
as
to be like
possible.
mini pearl. See, you
What's
walk
that?
out in that hat tag hanging down and go, yoo-hoo!
Oh my gosh.
Well, let's enjoy this laughter because it's so special. So I invite you now to just kind of take a deep breath and relax into this space. What a beautiful thing it is. We are here as branches and leaves of the tree of life. We are here as the oneness that God expresses through each one of us. We are here today to celebrate, to acknowledge, and to know that all that we are is a divine gift. And so as we move through this service with this joy and this laughter, there will be serious moments too, I'm sure. Wisdom comes through. The tree of life is the recommendation and the representation of wisdom. And in that, we are grateful for this time together and for all who participate, and for Chris and Carrie, Ishee, who are going to be our special music, for Denise, for Reverend Ann, for all the wonderful words she shares with us and the uplifting, inspiring message she always gives. And for every one of us who participate, whether we're up here or in our chairs, we are all part of the human family, and we are all part of that divine light and love that is wonder. And so in that, in deep gratitude for all of it, we move into this service now and just enjoy and take it in. And together we can say,
And so
it
it is. Laurel.
I'm going over Mitzi.
Going up. Oh my gosh.
Morning. I'm gonna try to do the Native American 4 directions.
You gonna try it or you gonna do it?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
Okay.
do it. Okay. Great Spirit, Mother Earth, Father Sky, Grandmother Moon, Grandfather Sun, and all my relations. The 2-leggeds, the 4-leggeds, those that swim, the winged ones, the creepy crawlers, the fungi, the bacteria kingdom, the crystal and mineral kingdom, the flower and plant people, the tree people, the cloud people, and the star nation. We welcome and honor you and ask for your presence and blessings now at this ceremony to honor all that is. Please stand and face east. East, spirits, energies, and animals of the East, we ask that you honor us with your presence and bless this ceremony. East that represents sunrise, morning, new beginnings, illumination, the mental plane, and springtime. East that is represented by eagle that flies higher than any other bird and brings illumination from the spirit world. Strong, mighty elk also represents the energies of the East. Thank you for your presence here. Take a deep breath. Breathe out. Please turn to your right. South, spirits, energies, and animals of the South, we ask that you honor us with your presence and bless this ceremony. South that represents midday, the fullness of life, the physical plane, green and yellow, joyfulness and summer. South that is represented by coyote, the trickster, the playful otter, and the innocence of porcupine. Frog that brings cleansing and new life and fertility to the beings of earth is also representative of energy from the South. Thank you for your presence here and now. Breathe in, breathe out. Please turn to your right. West, spirits, energies, and animals of the West, we ask that you honor us with your presence and bless this ceremony. West that represents the emotional plane, the end of the journey, completion, attainment of goals, sunset, and autumn. West is presented by the strength and introspection of brown bear and the color red. Thank you for your presence here now. Take a deep breath in, breathe out. Please turn to your right. North, spirits, energies, and animals of the North, we ask that you honor us with your presence and bless this ceremony. North that represents nighttime, the spiritual plane, spiritual attainment, and winter. North that is represented by the color black, white buffalo calf woman, wolf, the teacher, raven, the bringer of magic and healing from the spirit world, owl, guardian of the night, and by buffalo that symbolizes prayers and abundance. Thank you for your presence here now. Take a deep breath in, and now breathe out. Please turn and face your screen or the middle aisle. Close your eyes, put your hands over your heart, and feel the presence of all these elements in, honoring each as an element of spirit. Now open your eyes. Take a moment. As you see with the eyes of God, notice God looking back at you. Thank you so much.
beautiful, Chris. That reminded me of the trees. I could feel the roots and the trunk and the leaves falling down, and to me it was a promise. It's a promise of new life, right? We go into that wonderful space and of quiet and reflection, and then we come out in that joyful expression of the leaves. So this morning, Reverend Ann, the theme has been the giving tree, and it made me think of Shel Silverstein's book. Are you all familiar with that? If you have children, you probably read it to your children. Anyway, his story was about the giving tree. And he's a poet. And it's the perfect story of giving completely of oneself to life and the lives of others. The tree just keeps on giving. And has spoken so beautifully of this for the last few weeks, and it's just been a wonderful thing. And today's title, as I said before, represents wisdom. The wisdom of being and connection and the tree of life, because we're all part of the tree of life, right? So anyway, considering what's been going on in the world and the chaos and all the unpleasant things, I wanted to share with you something from Khalil Gibran. Considering what is happening in the world, he has some wonderful things to say, as do many Middle Eastern wisdom teachers. My soul gave me good counsel, teaching me to love what the people abhor, and to show goodwill toward the one they hate. It showed me that love is a property not of the lover, but of the beloved. Before my soul taught me, love for me was a delicate thread stretched between two adjacent pegs. But now it has been transformed into a halo. Its first is its last, and its last is its first. It encompasses every being, slowly expanding to embrace all that ever will be. And in this, we can celebrate. And from Rajneesh, celebration is my attitude, unconditional to what life brings. So remember, celebration happens when the mind unites with spirit. That's Ravi Shankar. We also have Ernest Holmes. I did not quote Ernest Holmes this week. So with that, let's do our affirmation. I'll read it first. And welcome to everyone. I'm sorry I didn't welcome you all on Facebook and Zoom. This is the affirmation. I connect from a place of love and appreciation of all the diversity of all life. I connect from a place of love and appreciation of all the diversity of all life. And so it is.
And so it is.
I love you all.
Thank you for having us. It's going to be surprising.
It is, always.
I'm Carrie, and this is my husband, Chris, Ishee. And we were here a few weeks back with Lisa Carmen, who was staying with us at the time, and she introduced us to Joseph, and he asked us to come today. So we're really thrilled to share our music. So we've been together over 30 years, and Chris, yes, and Chris is a lifelong musician, touring musician, composing musician, and he was music educator, head of the music department at Santa Fe Prep for 23 years. Just retired, and I finally got him to support me in this music project. I finally have him as my music director, so. So I'm a therapist and a life coach, and during COVID, I was really, at times, a little bit overwhelmed in my practice with just the amount of need that there was. And I found myself wanting to support clients more with some materials outside of the office, so these songs started coming in. So I'm going to encourage you first. This is a song about grounding. Just notice your feet on the floor. And we're going to be connecting with the core of ourselves with the core of the earth. Engage right here, right now. Feet on the floor. Touching core to core. Your core, the earth's core, welcome home. Feel the power right here. Feet on the floor. Touching core to core. Be behind your eyes. Right here, right now, feet on the floor, touching core to core. Open your senses, what do you hear? What do you smell, taste, see? What do you feel? Feet on the floor. Touching core to core. Let your body come alive. Be here right now, engaged in your life. Feet on the floor. Touching core to core. Your feet on the floor. Touching core to core. Now close your eyes and let yourself focus on your feet on the floor. And in this moment, just imagine that your feet are barefoot, no shoes, and in deep, nutrient-rich, warm soil. Make that contact between your feet and the soil. And begin to imagine there are roots growing out of the bottom of your feet, deep down into the earth, past rocks, sediment, sources of water, going deep down into the earth, and as they do so, you're feeling more and more grounded and more like you belong here. And then just allow yourself to imagine the roots have entered the very center of the earth where a great ball of light exists. The core of the earth. You connect with the core in yourself at the same time through the roots. And imagine coming up through the roots are all the elements of the earth that support life. And they're coming in through the bottom of your feet and washing over your body. And just really revitalizing you in the way in which we are born of the earth, born of the stars. We belong. So allow yourself to gently come back and open your eyes, and as you do, just allow yourself to stay connected to those roots and imagine all the other roots that have gone down into the earth as a prayer during this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris and Carrie, for being here today. And we have a little ritual with our musical guests that we'll do with you later. I just want you to be thinking about that the whole time I'm talking. Good morning, every day.
Good morning.
Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Zoom. We are so thrilled to be here together and to have this opportunity to explore our roots and to see where they take us. I'm Reverend Ann Ray, in case y'all forgot, and I get to be the senior minister of this incredible Everyday Center for Spiritual Living community here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Thrilled, grateful, a little overwhelmed. I am. Because you're my spiritual family. And obviously my spiritual family reaches beyond the people who are sitting in this room to include the people who would be sitting in this room if they weren't otherwise elsewhere, in the Church of Golf or wherever they are. And so as Patty so beautifully included in her offering this morning, where she mentioned what we've been up to for the last month, we've been up to talking about trees. And we've been up to talking about their wisdom and what it is that they have imparted through, in some cases, thousands and thousands and thousands of years to the people and the animals that grew up around them. And today, we're going to be talking about the tree of life. Now, I'm guessing that just by mentioning that there is a tree of life, each of you have in your mind what that looks like. Because we've all seen images, haven't we? Yes. We've all seen mandalas. We've all seen pieces of art and pieces of jewelry and all kinds of different depictions of this tree of life. And there is a story that the tree of life, the whole tree of life mythology began with Buddha. But Buddha says no. Buddha says the tree of life already existed. And it was interesting in my research for my talk today, in my preparation for my talk today, to learn that every great teaching since prehistory, what that means is that there are images of trees of life that appear in caves and in the remains of the most primitive of places where people lived and grew things and had children. So what is this tree? And it shows up in different ways. It shows up in one way in Buddhism, it shows up in another way in Judaism, it shows up in another way in Christianity. One of the things that I learned was that the tree of life represents the sacred number 7. And so if we think about all of the faith traditions within which 7 is a key number, all of that has somehow along the ages been inspired by the tree of life. Now in Judaism, the number happens to be 22. And that's a long story. But nonetheless, from that perspective, it makes perfect sense because you have these journeys that you embark on. If you get the chance, look at a Judaic, you can look it up online, a Judaic depiction of the tree of life. Because it's quite different than what we think of, what comes to mind as the tree of life. And yet, as we look at it, what it shows us is a journey. And you cross a threshold on the journey, and you get to, shall we say, your first stop. And then you embark on another part of the journey and you get to your second stop. And you take another leg of the journey and you get to your third stop. So it's wonderful to me that the wisdom of the tree of life is so relevant to so many cultures. It isn't just about faith traditions. It's about cultural beliefs. One of the articles that I read that I found the most interesting was from Genesis, not from the Bible, but from, although it could have been, but from the University of New York. And what they did in this article is they took the major belief systems around the tree of life and just found their commonality. Now this is something that every single person who has ever studied anything written by Ernest Holmes is familiar with. Because this is how the science of mind happened. Was finding the common thread. Finding the common truth. Finding the common call to an understanding that was inviting us into the understanding, each part of the journey was inviting us into a new level of participation, a new level of acceptance of the good that is available to us. And as Patty addressed, all the things that are going on in the world, I mean, really, pick your place. There's, there are places that are holding our focus right now, but really, pick your place. Pick your city. Pick your street. We can find misunderstandings. We can find hatred. We can find divisiveness. We can find separation if that's what we're looking for.
Exactly.
But we know better, don't we? We know better. And why is it that we know better? We know better because there's only one life. And that includes all things. That includes every living thing, person, being, tree, in my opinion, rock.
Yes.
Certainly earth is a living thing. There are some humans, I know none of them are in this room, but there are, no, that isn't what I meant to No. Let me start over. The humans in this room are not among the people of whom I'm about to speak. That's better. And those people of whom I'm about to speak, they hold an idea that we are the superior creation. Now, I'm not blaming them or shaming them or shooting on them or any of that. I'm just saying, it ain't so. Because there is no superior or inferior in the mind of God. Which makes the tree of life even more relevant. So as I said, in this article, they took all of the key ideas, the key beliefs of each of the 7 phases, and they grouped them together, and they created levels. The author created levels to make it easier to comprehend. And level 1 is honoring the family. And honoring the family is not just about our personal family. Right? It's honoring our spiritual family. It's honoring all life as our family. All life. So, is it possible that within that family, whether it's our personal family or someone that we read about or someone that we hear about or someone that we work for, that we aren't necessarily going to understand them? Isn't that possible?
Yes.
Anybody ever had that situation? That we aren't necessarily going to understand them. They aren't necessarily going to think or believe what we do. So then what? Do we withdraw our interest? Do we withdraw our affection? Do we withdraw our caring? Do we withdraw our willing to understand in a different way, in a more expansive way, because their ideas, their ways of being are different?
No.
Really? How come I'm not convinced? How about a no? Okay. No. And that may be one of the biggest tests we ever face,
Absolutely.
is this incremental thing called a relationship with another person that thinks differently, feels differently, lives differently, believes differently than we do. Isn't that interesting? We might think that our greatest challenges are doing the heavy lifting to create world peace. And here I am telling you that our greatest challenge may be one relationship.
Yes.
Because that relationship is our test. What do we believe? Including about them. Who are we really? And how are we in the world? How do we honor the world family? You know, it's interesting. None of us here, of course, but we, because we're the exception to everything, and when I use the greater we in that way, I mean human doings. Human doings, golly, they make a lot of assumptions about everyone and everything that isn't like them. Golly, they make a lot of assumptions about what's okay and what's not okay. Golly, they make a lot of assumptions about what promotes life and what doesn't. You want to talk about gun control? No, I didn't think so. Okay. Level 2 is honoring one another. Now, how do we do that? We look in each other's eyes. And we see beyond, and actually in this article it talks about seeing beyond the condition, seeing beyond the separation, seeing beyond the obvious. We look in each other's eyes, we see into each other's hearts. We are willing, as you have heard me say a gazillion times before, to be the presence of peace and love everywhere, all the time. Everywhere, all the time. No matter what. That makes it easy to honor one another. Easy. If being the presence of peace and love is our driving force, then there is no There is nothing else. There's absolutely nothing else. Level 3, honoring oneself. Oh, boy. Honoring oneself. Oh, but it's so easy to make it about somebody else. Whether we're honoring or not so much. Honoring oneself? What's that got to do with it? I'll tell you what it's got to do with it. Aren't you glad? What it's got to do with it is that we cannot be the presence of peace and love if we are not that to ourselves. We cannot be the presence of peace and love if we are not that to ourselves. So what that means is self-judgment out the window, self-criticism out the window, self-doubt out the window. I could go on and on, because the list of, I want you to understand, I'm not speaking lightly here. The list of criminalities that we commit in our mind towards ourselves is long. Why? Why? All we're doing is we are perpetuating a behavior that we learned from what we heard other people doing to each other or other people saying to us when we were very young. We are perpetuating a behavior that is as self-destructive as anything that we might do or take. And we cannot be the presence of peace and love and be doing that to ourselves.
Right, that's right.
You know, if I was to turn over this talk to Rita right now, she'd say, "You don't get it. You don't get how lovable you are. You don't get that you are here to be loved and to be loved. You don't get that you're here to be open and receptive and willing and dancing in the streets. You don't get it." But you will. Blushing on the truth. Honoring one's spouse is level 4. Now, not all of us have a spouse, right?
Right. Higher self. A higher self.
But we have a higher self, and we also have someone in our lives that we love in a special way. So even though we're not married to them, this is a person that we hold dear. But notice, honoring oneself came first. We cannot honor them in the way that we want to, in the way that we mean to, in the way that we intend to, until we honor ourselves first. Surrendering to divine will. So let's talk about this divine will business. Because it's confusing.
Yes.
Many of us have heard, starting very young in our lives, many of us have heard that if it's God's will, then it'll happen.
Right.
Or some version of that. If it's God's will for me, then it'll happen. If it's not God's will for me, then it won't. And all I can do is pray that it's God's will. That's a complete misunderstanding. I'm sorry you had to wait so long to hear it. That is a complete misinterpretation of divine will. Because divine will is always for our ultimate joy and happiness. Really?
Yes.
Linda? For our ultimate joy and happiness. So when we think that something isn't happening because it's not God's will, or because the divine is playing games with us, or because we must have done something terribly wrong because we're being punished and this is being withheld, that is not how it works.
That's right.
That's right.
The universe, spirit, God, the divine, our higher power, Sydney, has a one-word vocabulary. And that's yes.
Yes.
Whether what we are claiming is the highest idea for us or not. So the good news is, it's yes. And the other news is, it's yes. We can choose. That is how we use the energy that is this will we speak of. It is our own. And so we choose. I choose what I wore today. So did all of you. We chose whether or not to go out and see the moon last night. Right?
Yes.
Wow.
Fantastic.
We chose whether or not to even show up today. We chose this center. We choose, and we choose again, and we choose again, and we choose again, and we choose again. And this is how the divine will works.
Yes.
The divine will works through us,
Right.
not on us.
Yep.
Did y'all hear that?
Yes.
Divine will works through us, not on us. We are not target practice. We are the Creator's creation. We are just as everything else is. And we are an expression, a revelation of that mind, of that energy, of that love, of all of its attributes when we choose to be.
Right.
So even though we may have been told that if we ticked God off, Actually, that language wasn't exactly used, but if we didn't do something right, or if we, crossed the line or colored outside the line, or whatever the story was, that, we could only expect things to go badly. That's all made up.
Yeah.
But it's made up by people who believed it.
Yes, that's right.
And that's the difference. People weren't telling us things that they didn't believe. They were telling us exactly what they believed.
Right.
And now here we are choosing a new idea and a new way of being. And to recognize that if we change our minds and we look at what feels true, and we step into what feels true, life turns out differently.
Yes.
I can tell you at least 3 examples that are in the room right now of people who had practically miracles happen overnight.
Yes. Yeah.
And it isn't that any great, stream of anything came from on high and smacked him upside the head and, shook him up and down and said, if you go along with this, then this will happen. No. They changed their minds
Yes.
about what was possible. All right. I know I'm keeping you long, but you'll live. Seeking only truth is level 6. Your truth. Your inner wisdom tells you the truth.
Right.
Now, am I standing here telling you what I want you to believe? No. Really. I'm standing here telling you what I believe. What I believe, what I practice, what I live, what I explore, what I experiment with, that's what I'm telling you. And you'll take it home, and you'll use it or you won't, and your inner wisdom will tell you what's true for you.
Exactly.
We are always open and searching for that which is true. And for that which rings true. I'm convinced that each of us have a barometer inside. This would be a great song for you to write. Each of us have a barometer inside that responds to what's true for us. Can you not tell when somebody isn't telling you the truth?
Yes.
Of course you can. And you can also tell when you hear the truth. Because there's a resonance. Always seek the truth. Letting ego out and God in.
Amen.
So am I making the ego bad?
No.
No, the ego's important. The ego gives us definition. And it's sort of like It's very similar to getting confused with what is and what isn't your source. So, for instance, when we're working, we might think that our paycheck is our source, or the company that's paying us is our source. We might think Social Security is our source. We might think our inheritance is our source. We might think any number of things are our source. But there's only one. And that source is unlimited. And it's so clever, that source. It uses all these different avenues, like tributaries on a river. All these different avenues to bring our good to us. So the ego gets a little confused about this. And it's part of the process of the mechanism that makes up stuff about other people. And about why things are the way they are, blah, 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 blah. If we are looking for reasons to make excuses, to blame, to feel hopeless or helpless, if we are looking for reasons to justify living anything but our best life, because this or that or the other thing isn't going 100% perfectly right now, that's all we're doing. And we have a choice. And our choice to live our best life is up to who?
Us.
And nobody else. And nobody can take it away from you either. Nobody. And so it is.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. Can I leave this here?
You sure can.
Okay, good. Just open it. There you go.
You're welcome.
I'm so glad you're here.
So this is, I think, kind of perfect because this is a song about ego and heart.
All right.
Of course. I have my notes here just in case I forget. My mind, the owner of my separate self, sees this world as a cold and hostile place. My mind, my disconnected mind, it looks for trouble all the time. But my heart beats from the deepest part of me, lending truth, bringing clarity as I make my way on this pathway. Your heart beats from the deepest part of my own, your pathway. What can we do to join heart and mind? Breathe in and out, relax and unwind. And you will see the two join as one, head and heart in love, a new life begun. But my mind, my separate little mind, it looks to see what's yours, it looks to see what's mine. Get yourself united, breathe in and out, multiply the wisdom of head with heart. Get yourself united, breathe in and out, multiply the wisdom from head with heart. My heart beats, your heart beats, our hearts beat as we make our way. Oh, excuse the tears. My heart beats, your heart beats, our hearts beat as we make our way home. My heart beats, your heart beats, our hearts beat as we make our way home. And join me by putting your hands on your heart. Let's all take a deep breath in and out. And again, breathing in, just allowing our hearts to open even more and reaching out beyond ourselves to our community here, to Santa Fe, to New Mexico, to the United States, to the world, and particularly towards those war-torn areas that need our love. And just allowing ourselves again to feel the roots beneath our feet, connecting us to the earth. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Just feel the presence that we're all here with our hearts and our roots.